You know, a lot of people have asked me about my journey and how I got to where I am today. And I think it's really marked by my ability to hear a voice, that inner voice, that a lot of people ignore. And that co-creation with the universe that has been the hallmark of my life, I think. It really begins, my story begins when I'm 11 years old, and you know, so many young girls, they're into dolls and rock and roll music, and it was right at the beginning of the Beatles, but not me. I heard a voice that said, why don't you become a sports writer? I loved sports writing, I was a Dodger fanatic, and I put the idea of writing and sports together when there were no women sports writers. And I didn't listen to all the voices that implied that because I was a woman, I couldn't do that. And so I followed my course. I followed my vision, and I learned to write by reading the Los Angeles Times daily. And before you knew it, at 20, I was at the Detroit Free Press. At 21, I was at the Associated Press and writing for the front pages of the LA Times. At 22, I was at the Washington Post. And also, that summer, I was the co-host of Dodger Dugout. Now, of course, all this made a lot of noise, and fun noise, actually. I was able to, because of the fact that I won the Baseball Writer Scholarship, which no woman had ever actually even entered, let alone won, I made sports pages across the country. There was a wonderful feature in the LA Times sports section on me. And I even made national television when I broke the press box barrier in Detroit. So this was a great fun and really proved to be a great proving ground for me. And when I came back from Washington, I jumped into freelance writing, and I was able to write for the New York Times and TV Guide. And it was a great opportunity for a young person to expand. And then I had that wonderful experience, my first really divine intervention, I would call it, that real co-creation. I said to the universe, you know, I'm really tired of staring at a typewriter all by myself. I just completed 2 books for women athletic directors that were handbooks at the beginning of Title IX. And I said, I want to do something else. And right about that time, I got a phone call, and it was from a national PR agency with a small LA office, and they said, come help us promote a running event for Quaker Oats. And I said, sure, I can come in and do the same kinds of stories, offer reporters the same kinds of stories that I would be interested in. So I popped in, and it was a fabulous success, and I realized that PR was really a great home for me. So the next thing I did was brought in Yoplait Yogurt to the agency, and had the extraordinary opportunity to launch Yoplait Yogurt to the Western United States. And we went to #1 in less than 6 months in the market, and I had hot air balloons and bicycle races. And the hot air balloons you'll see evidence of all over my house. Balloons still are very much a part of my life. I spent a lot of my fun time during those years ballooning. And so after that, I decided it was time for me to go out on my own. I've only worked for other people for 4 years in my life. And so I started an agency that became one of the largest sports and special events and entertainment firms in the country at the time. We had such clients as the Los Angeles Marathon, the 75th anniversary of the National Hockey League, the Golf Channel. I launched the Golf Channel, actually. Lots of cable networks. And I had all of Toyota's Motorsports PR, which was really a lot of fun. I did the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race every year. And the agency grew and grew and grew. I was also the queen of boxing in the 1980s. That was kind of fun, most of the major middleweight fights. And, but the agency became really one that was overwhelming to manage. It wasn't any fun. I wasn't on the front lines. I wasn't really interacting with the media and the clients. And so I decided to shut it down and really scale it back. And in subsequent years, I started working back out of my beautiful home in Westlake Village. And while doing that, I got a call from some folks who said, we want to put poker on television. And so yes, you have me to thank for the worldwide poker phenomenon. I launched that with the World Poker Tour. And so I've played in a big sandbox and had a lot of fun doing it. And over the years, I began to go on my own spiritual journey. there was a part of me that wanted more. And so I read a lot of the beautiful books that so many of the beautiful spiritual leaders of today have brought forth. And in doing so, this was before The Secret, I realized that there was something that was a little bit missing, and that was talking about how we consciously create through our minds and our emotions the future that we want for ourselves, how we can really influence that future. And so out of that came my first book, The Art of Conscious Creation. And that spurred in me a real desire to spend more time working in the conscious sector. And my second book, I think, really solidified that. Practical Conscious Creation, Daily Techniques to Manifest Your Desires, actually was the best spiritual book of the year at the International New Age Trade Show and won 6 other awards. But by then, I really wanted to follow the calling of my heart, and that was really to work within the conscious and transformational community. And so I completely switched my work, my agency, over to committed to that world. And that's how Conscious Media Relations came to be. And today, I think we're one of the leading firms serving the conscious and transformational world. And I'm thrilled to be have worked with some of the great leaders in our genre. And we work with everybody from emerging to established, but not just authors and leaders, but musicians and filmmakers and conscious businesses and products and services, also conscious causes, anybody who touches on making the world a better place. We call ourselves Media Lightworkers, joyfully bringing your light to the world. For us, it's a real passion to be able to introduce our clients to both the mainstream and the conscious media, and it's fun to be able to serve in a way that we know makes a difference in the world ourselves. So today we do our signature radio media tours. We offer articles and excerpts to 1,100 Mind, Body, Spirit print media. Our radio media tours are receiving rave reviews because we introduce authors to 2,600 personal growth radio shows. And we have an array of services, and I invite you to go to consciousmediarelations.com and take a look at some of the things we do. We've got a whole series of fabulous lists for authors and conscious marketers to bring their works to a variety of resources, awards, conscious websites, blog posts, specialty blog posts in the area. It's a really fun collection of resources for folks. And we're going to be doing a series of webinars for folks who want to learn a little bit more about doing their own publicity that will augment what we do for them, or if they want to do it on their own. So I'm excited about where we're heading and the things that we're doing. And we even have a boutique publishing company. So those are pretty exciting new developments for us. So part of my life is trying to create balance, and that balance includes living in a beautiful home with lots of waterfalls and roses here in Westlake Village. I'm known as the Rose Lady of Westlake Village. My house is the Rose Cottage. I also spent a lot of years being the world's leading seller of mineral spheres and natural mineral marbles, and I have a beautiful collection today of mineral spheres. And when I can't be found here on my sacred Sundays reading in my backyard, you'll find me traveling the world. That is my other passion, traveling and photographing and just absorbing the beauty and the history around the world.